Hello, and welcome to One Cool Thing, PC Mag's daily show where we show you one cool thing which we are testing out in the PC Mag labs. I'm Sasha Sigan, this is Tom Brandt. We have here the new HP Spectre, and if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe this video. We will have a new One Cool Thing 5 days a week. If you are watching us live on Facebook, welcome, and please comment and ask questions about this product, or really about anything, in the comments field, and Social Zach over here will take your comments and read them out to us throughout the show. But the cool thing we have today is this is clearly, I was trying to think what my best dad joke would be of the available range of dad jokes here. I'm going to say this is a bangin' laptop, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
Okay.
It is really one cool thing because the HP Spectre 13 has always looked really good, but now they've added this snow white finish to it that makes it look, you know, well, it depends on your.
I mean, it totally looks like a laptop you would use on Hoth.
Let's show off just how white and you know, the white snowy expanses this is.
Yeah, and like if you unfocus your eyes a little on that HP logo, it looks very abstract, and it could be the First Order, and this could be some kind of like Stormtrooper Last Jedi leak laptop thing.
Yeah, I mean, I picture this, you know, being used in Star Wars for like Stormtroopers in their downtime checking their email.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that's kind of what I picture. So, but basically, yeah, the Spectre 13, the Spectre 13 is just a laptop. It's not a convertible. It's a conventional laptop, but this thing is incredibly thin and incredibly light. It's only 2.4 pounds, not the absolute lightest, but among the absolute lightest laptops that we have tested. It has a full HD touchscreen and an excellent keyboard. So really, this is designed for people who are using this as their main computer.
And so now, why did I say it was banging? What was that joke? Explain the joke.
So I'm going to intuit that you are talking about. Oh, right. Yes, I'm going to intuit that you're talking about the speakers.
My jokes are so bad, not even Tom can understand them.
Wait, we haven't gotten to the punchline yet. It's the Bang & Olufsen speakers.
Yes.
That perhaps you can see them.
So now the Bang & Olufsen speakers, are they unusually loud, unusually rich for a laptop this thin?
Yeah, as you can see here on the just above the keyboard, there is a speaker grill that extends the entire length of the bottom of the chassis. And this speaker grill, you know, conceals speakers that are really loud for the type, for the, you know, for how thin this laptop is. I mean, it's loud and it's full sound to the point where, you know, I would say this is again among the best laptop speakers that we've tested.
Now let's take a little detour into processor, chipset, memory storage.
Okay, yeah. So this actually has the 8th generation Core i7 processor, which has been slow. Well, actually, it's been quickly coming into laptops and desktops over the past month or so. It is very quick for multitasking, and even better, it has excellent power management.
Okay.
So you're going to get a long battery life. That said, our editor's choice in this category is the Dell XPS 13. It's not quite as fast on our benchmarks as the XPS 13.
And now, also, we need to call out, because I know a lot of our viewers think this is important, and this is important to a lot of people, the graphics performance on here is very limited.
Yeah, I mean, it has integrated graphics, so you're not going to be able to play, to achieve really good frame rates on a demanding video game. But what you are going to be able to do is watch videos or things like that on this beautiful full HD touchscreen. Which I actually prefer over a 4K display because it saves battery, and to me it looks just as good.
Now, how about RAM and storage? Like, I can't even see where you would put storage in this.
Yeah, actually, you know, this is definitely something that you cannot upgrade. It's all tightly packed in here. We have 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD, which, you know, and we haven't mentioned the price. This thing costs around $1,200, which, you know, is pretty good for the components.
Yeah, that's a little bit below what the MacBook Pro is charging, what the 13-inch MacBook Pro is charging.
Right.
Now, before we get questions, I just want to show you the very limited port selection on this. We have 3 USB-Cs, 2 of which are Thunderbolts, 1 of which is power delivery.
Indeed, and 3 is actually really good because if we're comparing this to the MacBook Pro again, the base level MacBook Pro only has 2.
Only has 2, and then we have a headphone jack.
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
but no SD card slot, none of that sort of stuff.
There is nothing on this laptop except for those 4 ports on the back.
Okay, let's take some questions.
How's the trackbed?
Aha!
Wait, so okay, we just published this review, and that is really the one thing that is bad about. Well, not
the one uncool thing about this laptop.
It's the most noticeable uncool thing. So thank you for our eagle-eyed visitors who have already, noticed that. Basically, what they've done is they've had to make this so thin and so small. They've had to squish some components, and they decided to make an excellent full-size keyboard so that you can type on it, but that at the expense of this little tiny strip here of the touchpad. It's not actually that much narrower than some other touchpads we've seen. The problem with it is that it is very unresponsive. It is frustrating to use. I spent about an hour messing around with there's tons of settings. It actually uses a special Synaptics settings engine in addition to the Windows touchpad settings. I messed around with it for an hour. I turned up the sensitivity. I turned features on and off, and I still can't get it to recognize. Well, eventually it will recognize scrolling or two-finger gestures. It's just a really poorly designed.
I mean that could be a deal breaker for me. You heard my like incoherent cry of rage there. Keyboards and touchpads are just very, very important to me on laptops.
So they get one of them right.
Yeah. Let's take another question.
Does it support a stylus?
So they actually don't have what Lenovo has, which is Lenovo has a special dedicated pen to type on or to write on touchscreens. I don't believe that HP has that.
So if it's a touch screen, so Lenovo and Microsoft both put an extra layer over their touch screens, designed by either N-Trig or Wacom. A standard touchscreen like this is a capacitive touchscreen, and so it'll work with a capacitive stylus. And capacitive styluses are much less expensive than the dedicated pressure-sensitive styluses.
Right.
But you don't get pressure sensitivity, tilt sensitivity, an eraser button. They're somewhat less accurate than the more dedicated styluses. But if you absolutely want to work with the stylus, a capacitive pen will work on this screen.
Sure, and the good thing about this screen too is it has Gorilla Glass, which again probably prevents these 4,000 touch points.
But also I want to point out that the ergonomics here are not appropriate for a stylus.
Right,
this hinge doesn't go all the way back.
This is
as far as it goes. So you're not going to be flipping this all the way over and using it as a tablet. This is a traditional laptop.
Yep.
Let's take another question.
How's the viewing angle of the screen?
So this has excellent viewing angles. So it has excellent viewing angles, which we can't really show off here in the brightly lit studio because the screen actually isn't that bright. So when I look at it from the side, I can't really see much, and I believe it's all the way up. Yep, it's all the way up. That's just because the MacBook Pro, the 15-inch MacBook Pro has 500 nits of brightness. Nits is a technical term to describe how bright it is. We don't actually know, they don't actually tell us how many nits this has, but it's certainly not 500. And so while you can, you're not going to have washed out colors when you look at it from the side, you might not be able to see any kind of thing at all.
I am getting a massive amount of reflectivity from the side view on this, where basically I'm not seeing the image of the screen as much as I'm seeing a reflection of Tom's hand.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be fine if you are looking at it yourself head on, which you're likely going to be doing most of the time. I mean, this is such a small laptop that you're not going to be sharing. You're not going to hopefully have a bunch of people huddled around.
Now, did you run the battery test on this?
Yeah. So the battery life on this machine. Let's just double check it here.
Look at that in the review.
It's been a little bit since I believe it's over 10 hours.
That's nice.
And yes, I am correct. It is 12 hours and 12 minutes.
Okay.
Now that is going to get you hopefully through a full workday. It could last a lot longer than that, depending on how much you're using it. But again, comparing this to the XPS 13 or the MacBook Pro gets over 16 hours. So that could make a difference.
Any more questions out there?
Can you reiterate how good the keyboard is again? Someone just tuning in.
Oh yes, the keyboard. So it's full-size keyboard. island style keys. So if you have big fingers like I do, you're not going to be messing around with the key. You're not going to be mushing keys that you didn't mean to. And the travel is pretty good. The distance that the keys travel is fairly good for such a small keyboard, and the stability is good too.
Okay, so you said this is a $1,300 laptop?
Yeah, so as configured, this costs just about, it fluctuates. HP's pricing right now is slightly lower because of Cyber Week, but if it's about 12, a little over 1,200.
And and so we're comparing it to, you said the Dell XPS 13 is its primary comparison?
I mean, if I went into a store and I was looking at this, the XPS 13, maybe a Lenovo convertible, these are all very comparable laptops. You can read our review. We've come up with a selection, all of which have the 8th generation Core i7 processors. But really, when I look at those side by side, this just looks better.
This looks better, but it sounds like the XPS 13 works a little better.
Yeah, so there's trade-offs.
What are you willing to give up for fashion? Are you willing to give up your trackpad for fashion?
So yeah, that's the thing, is I really use the trackpad a lot. I would look in the store and I would say, wow, this is such a beautiful computer, but then I would probably not walk home with it because I actually use Macs or have used Macs a lot, and I'm used to their superior trackpad.
But if you're a Bluetooth mouse person, this has Bluetooth in it, right?
Yeah, if you can get by without using the trackpad, or if you don't notice what I did, which is the multi-finger. It's really the problem is with multi-finger gestures. If you don't care about that, there's very little reason.
I was thinking if you're a Bluetooth mouse person, if you're a Kensington trackball person, how does one of our coworkers has a Kensington trackball on his desk?
I use a trackball too.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. Is it 1994
where you are?
Okay, see, that's the thing. The Logitech TrackMan is kind of like the stereotypical trackball, right, from the 80s. Started out in the 80s. They're still selling it. They actually just came out with a new one called the Logitech Trackball, I believe. And it is really good. It actually, instead of having it in the middle, it has on the side.
Have we reviewed that?
We should. Yeah, it's up. We should probably have that on the show at some point.
Yeah, we should. I mean, it may not be new, but
use a trackball with this HP Spectre.
Okay, that's a good tip. Let's take one more question.
What's it to read-write of the SSD?
The read-write of the SSD.
The speed of the SSD.
I don't know that specifically. I can tell you that it has an M.2 interface, which is the fastest SSD interface, and actually you would need to have an M.2 interface because nothing else would fit in such a small laptop. We don't actually, so for laptops, we don't test the read and write speeds of the built-in drive. We only test those for external hard drives where you're really, where it comes down to read and write performance. So the overall answer to your question is check the performance benchmarks, which will give you an idea of how it compares relative to other M.2 SSD laptops.
Okay, great. So so the HP Spectre 13, the review is up on PCMag.com. How did we rate it?
This has a 4 stars. I would love to give it 4.5.
Darn touchpad, not quite an editor's choice because of that gosh darn touchpad. Thank you very much, Tom. This has been One Cool Thing from PCMag.com. Once again, if you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you are watching us live on Facebook, we will be back tomorrow with another cool thing. And if you're watching us on YouTube, check out PCMag's Facebook page, where daily we will take your questions and comments on our One Cool Thing shows. Thanks a lot, everyone.